Hello everybody, this is January 7th and this is my first video blog for this series. I think I'm going to probably call it the Devil's Workshop. The whole point here is to show the world how we can change the way we live. Instead of fighting for dollars in capitalism to get all the basics we need, I want to make getting the basics that we need the goal, such that those basics will be there in abundance without having to chase dollars. And in short, the only way to do that is to have a surplus of energy. And I have a whole thing. I ran for Congress. I ran my mouth for a full year, somewhat unsuccessfully, about, hey, let's try this new way of being. I called it the cooperative economy. And it's too much of a challenge to a lot of established beliefs for people to accept. And it was too much of a step, unless people saw why they were taking it. It was too much of a step for the average person to do because they don't have the money and they don't have the space to do it and they don't have the available sunshine. You live in apartments or small homes and whatnot. And anyone who was rich enough to do this was probably not going to do it because they want to get more for themselves instead of help the community around them. So I was kind of stuck. Like, people who really need this weren't really listening and didn't really even have the ability to start it anyway, unless they were going to rally up a bunch of friends and then pool their resources, which ultimately is what they're going to need to do anyway. But the whole point of me doing this was to show people how they can change the way they live. And instead of using their money to invest in a solar panel so that they can get a return on the money, saving on energy in the future, I'm recommending using that free energy as a way to get some service such that you never need to chase dollars again. So one of those services would be water and another one would be heat. And with a surplus of energy, you can have both. And we have a surplus of energy, at least in San Diego. We have a surplus of energy from the sky. So the idea is that we would have enough solar panels during the day to do all these extra things, including growing food, purifying water, and all that stuff, and heating water, such that we don't need to continue worrying about the job market and the economy and what the dollar is going to do, and Trump and the Fed and anyone else. So, not really my first project. My first project today is actually going to be building this little solar stand. I have a bunch of solar panels on a makeshift stand behind me, and I originally had them over here, but when I moved, I didn't realize that the sun was going to be so low on the horizon and that all these dead trees were going to block my free energy. I was getting about 3 to 4 hours of direct sunlight a day, and that's not really enough if you want to live on free energy, especially when clouds come in, and especially when you don't have that many solar panels and you haven't hooked up the rest of your battery supply yet. And that's all back there. I have a bunch of camping battery boxes, stuff you would take for glamping. And that's basically what I've done here, is I'm glamping in this old 2-bedroom house. When I moved in, I decided I wasn't going to have any services except for water. And the electricity lasted a couple weeks, and that was nice. And the hot water is electric, so I was getting hot showers. And pretty much since, I guess it's December 13th or so, I have not had a hot shower here. I've had 2 since, so don't worry about that. I think that's about it. So yeah, I'm basically glamping in this old house with the intent to never have to buy services from capitalism. And the exception, of course, is going to be the internet right now. So I have my phone plan and I get my internet access that way. And I don't know any way around that. But in terms of growing food and producing energy and living in an abundance of warmth, I would like to be able to do that without capitalism. And that is the goal here. All right, that's it for this one. Hopefully in the next blog, I will have a solar stand set up and some nice solar panels and maybe even hooked up some batteries so that I'm not always freezing. See you guys.